for days. It lived in our house. They watched, they said nothing. The Nile ran red, Happy bled. 7 days the river died. The source of life they crowned in gold, choked on his own pride. We saw the waters turn to death. We saw their power fail. The source they worshipped as their God could not itself prevail. One by one their idols fell, and none could rise again. If he had shattered all their gods, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had crushed their throne of lies, Dayenu, Dayenu. Let every altar hit the ground, let every false god fall, Dayenu, Dayenu. He stands above them all. The sky went black, the eye of Ra was blinded in the flame. The God who ruled the light of men could not recall his name. The cattle dropped, Hathor struck, the strength laid in the dust. The gods of flesh and fertile land collapsed beneath his frost. The heavens split with fire and ice, the storm no man could tame. It shattered towers, raced to gods, and burned their sacred names. The pillars carved to pierce the sky, the courts of stone and gold, all cracked beneath the frozen fire. No priest could stop or hold. They called on names that could not hear, and none could answer them. If he had shattered all their gods, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had crushed their throne of lies, Dayenu, Dayenu. Let every altar hit the ground, let every false god fall, Dayenu, Dayenu. He stands above them all. The frogs of Hikid filled the land, then rotted where they lay. The God of life they sang to once could not keep death away. The earth itself turned against them, just crawling in their skin. The gods they swore would guard their flesh now tore them from within. Bring it down! Bring it down! Now we take their God. We take their account. We bind it in our home. We raise it to the flame. What they called God, we return as offering to Hashem's name. Not fear, not rage. We take what they held sacred and make it serve the one who broke their cage. If he had brought us just to this, Dayenu, Dayenu. To stand and break their gods like this, Dayenu, Dayenu. We take the thing they worship most and raise it to his flame, Dayenu, Dayenu. There is no other name. We do not fear. We take their God and bring it here. We do not bow, we do not fear. The hour was named, we took the blood in basin bowls, the hyssop in our hands, and marked the lintel, marked the posts. Just as he had planned, not hidden deep where none could see, but facing every street. A line drawn in the open night between defeat and defeat. Bail before our eyes. My sons, he said, do not be afraid. You saw what he has done. The Nile, the hail, the shattered sky. No God, no king, no son. Stay inside, do not go out. The night is not ours to walk. About midnight, the weight will fall. About midnight, it claims them all. If he has brought us just this far, Dayenu, Dayenu. No blade raised, no storm breaks, just something moving. The mark on the door and the flickering light look darker now than before. No one spoke. A spade, then another, then all of each other. The firstborn are dead. Dayenu.
One cry, then 10, then 1,000.
From palace walls to prison stones, it tore across the land. No house untouched, no voice unmoved, no power left to stand. The night they swore they still controlled, split open at the core. The kings, the guards, the masters all could rule no more. No God speaks, no priest stands, no throne holds. A great cry in Egypt, let the whole land shake. Every chain they built on us is breaking as they break. If he had broken them tonight, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he did was strike them down, Dayenu, Dayenu. They mocked, they struck, they broke our backs, they built their world on pain. Now every lash they ever raised comes crashing down again. No taskmaster can raise his hand, his house is filled with cries. No overseer counts the bricks with death before his eyes. No whip falls, no voice commands, no slave remains. A great cry in Egypt, the system cannot stand. The empire built on stolen lives collapses where it stands. If he had ended it right now, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was just this fall, Dayenu, Dayenu. Dayenu. Yeah. Oh, Pharaoh rose in broken fear, no pride left in his breath. Rise up, go, get out from here before we all meet death. The king who swore we'd never leave now cannot bear our sight. The man who chained 1,000,000 souls is broken in one night. No army forms, no chariot ride. tide. They do not stop us, they cannot stand. They drive us out from their own land. A great crying AJP, and we are standing free. The ones who built their world in chains now walk out openly. If he had freed us just this night, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was just our chains broken, set us free. They didn't just let us go, they paid us to live. Paid us to live. Doors flew open, hands were shaking. Take it, just go now. Gold cups, chains, and silver bracelets pressed into us as they bowed. Ledgers cleared in broken voices, debts of years paid in a breath. All the grain you gave us back, take it now, just leave. Just leave. Oh, full weight, every brick accounted. We take, we take, we take everything they owe. Golden hand flocks loaded down, we strip the kingdom whole. If he had given us this wealth, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was what they owe, Dayenu, Dayenu. I got a gold cup, crown to match, silver stacked up to my chest. Loaded beast, still straps were snapping, couldn't carry any less. Got so caught in counting riches, I forgot the food to bring. So I wrapped the dough across my back and left with everything. Too much gold, not enough time, leave it, never. We take, we take, we take every ounce they hid. The treasure buried in their walls now rides with every kid. If he had paid us just this night, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was justice due, Dayenu, Dayenu. The ground shook loud with moving feet, a million steps in time. Carts and flocks and shouting voices, dust and wealth combined. Some stood still and would not move, I still on the land. Chains of gold can't hold a man as tight as Pharaoh's hand. We don't run, we don't hide, they push us out from every side. No guard stands, no whip cracks, the world just flipped, we're not going back. Through all the noise, the silence passed, a weight no gold could match. A sealed and ancient sarcophagus carried through the mass. The prince who saved this very land now leaves it in our line. Joseph walks with us again through dust and desert time. We take, we take, we take, the kingdom falls behind. The wealth of those who owned our lives now marches in our line. If he had brought us out this far, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was freedom now, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Dayenu, Dayenu. Golden hand, dough on our backs, the road ahead. No turning back.
The road did not stop. So neither did we.
desert dust and flame. The path turned sharp toward open sea, but still we never changed. The wind moved strange across the sand. The night held something new, but every step away from chains was proof that this was true. Behind us, dust and iron rise. The endless tide. If he had brought us to this place, if he had freed us from their chains, if all he gave was just this step, one night beyond their hand. Dayenu, we already stand. The sea stretched wide before our path, no road beneath our feet. But we had seen the Nile break, we had watched their gods retreat. No turning back to brick and lash, no bowing once again. The road ahead may have no map, but we are not those men. No chain remains, no voice commands. We walk as free men now. If he had brought us just this far, if all he broke was Pharaoh's power, if all he gave was open sky beyond the tyrant's land, we take our stand. The ground shook loud with iron wheels, the army closed behind. Moshe stood, no fear, no doubt, and cut across the line. Stand firm, do not turn back. The God who broke their throne will break this path.
The wind begins. The waters move.
If he had brought us to the sea, Dayenu, if all he gave was liberty, Dayenu, if all he gave was this one night where we are finally free, Dayenu, that is enough for me. See before us, army behind, but we don't stop, we don't turn, we move forward. See ahead, iron behind. No path forward, no ground to claim. The waves stood still, we did the same. The sound of chariots closed the gap. The line could not hold long. No turning back, no place to run. If he had brought us to this edge, Dayenu, if all he gave was this one stand, Dayenu, One man moved, Nachshon ben Aminadav. He stepped into the sea, knees, chest, still he walked up to his breath. Moshe raised his hand, the wind tore through the night. Not gentle, not slow, a force that bent the world. For us, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had driven back the deep, Dayenu, Dayenu. The waters tore from side to side, Vayivaku Hamayim. The ground beneath us hard and dry, a road where none had been. Walls of chaos held in place by something no one sees. Not wind alone, not chance, not tide, a hand no man could stay. Reached into the depths themselves and forced the sea away. If he had opened just this path, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was this one road, Dayenu, Dayenu. We step inside what cannot be, no turning back again. Into the sea we stepped in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The mud beneath us, no sinking sand. The sea stood back on either hand. The path was firm beneath our feet where waves had ruled before. Like earth itself was laid for us across the ocean floor. Roka Eretz al Hamayim. He spread the ground beneath the sea. If he had led us through on dry land, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had made a road through the deep, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was steps that hold where none should ever be, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. He made a path for me. The walls rose high with shifting light, a world we'd never known. Shapes of life moved far beyond in waters not our own. Children reached toward silver forms that flickered through the blue. But still we walked, we did not stop, we had a path to move.
Maggid mitzadei gaver, every step prepared for me.
If he had brought us through this way, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had held the waters back, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was forward ground when none was meant to be, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. That would be enough for me. Behind us, thunder filled the path, the wheels began to chase. Pharaoh himself drove into the deep with fury on his face. The last pride of a broken crown rushed headlong through the divide, but we kept moving forward still with nothing left to hide. Gold on our backs, dough in our hands, children held close at our side. Shea Sali, Kol unchained. They came in after us, all of them.
Horses, chariots, steel.
Either side, the road still hard and wide, and Pharaoh drove his iron force straight down the split sea spine. The last great pride of broken kings, the last thing left to throw. If gold was gone, if gods had failed, then let the chariots go.
He still believed though it could win. He still believed force could begin again. When the waters return, Dayenu, Dayenu.
When he broke their final strain,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
if all he did was drown their war beneath the crushing deep,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
their last pride could not keep. The wheels dragged hard, the axles failed, the chariots bucked and swayed. Their horses screamed against the floor the sea itself had made. The cloud and fire that held the night now turned against their line. What looked like open road for war was never theirs to find.
Too late they saw it, too late they knew.
Hashem fights for them and then it all broke through.
When the waters return, Dayenu, Dayenu.
When he crushed the horse and wheel,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
if all he did was end their chase and sink their iron sleep,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
he cast them in the deep. The beast they saved because they feared more than Pharaoh's empty word. The stock they bought, the wealth they kept, the war line still preferred. All swept beneath the folding waves, all swallowed in one breath. The army armor, bridles, flags, dragged down to drown in death. No hail, no blood, no plague stretch along. Just one returning wall of judgment strong. The sea that fled before his hand now closed because he willed. And every boast of Egypt's war went silent, cold, and stilled.
When the waters return, Dayenu, Dayenu.
When he ended all their might,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
if all he gave was this one crash to break what still remained.
Dayenu, Dayenu.
No empire leaves again. The path was theirs for just a breath, then sea and judgment, merry death, and Egypt's last proud weapon never rose again.
The sea gave them back. Rounded,
Along the shore, the waves laid down what once had chased our line. The horse, the wheel, the armored hand, now broken by design.
No shout remained, no force returned, no banner left to raise.
The empire that had filled the world lay still beneath the waves.
We turned saw there was no one left to fear.
If he had brought them to this end, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had shown us none remain, Dayenu, Dayenu.
If all he gave was this one sight that made the truth appear,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
we stand with nothing near.
No road behind, no chain remains, no master left to call. The land we knew is gone to us, we will not turn at all.
The sea now guards the life we left, no path to walk it through. The past is closed beneath the waves, the world begins anew.
No Egypt left, no going back, only the road ahead. If he had closed the world behind, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had brought us safe this far, Dayenu, Dayenu.
If all he gave was this new ground where we can finally stand,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
a free and living band. Whoa. The waves return what war had lost, the steel, the wood, the rain. The tools of power once raised high, now scattered on the plain.
No longer held against our backs, no longer turned to fear. What once had chased us through the night now lay as remnants here.
We saw the hand that broke the sea. We saw what none denied.
The God who led us from the chains now leads us through the sky.
And Moshe stood before us, still no doubt left in his call.
The path ahead we do not know, but we will walk it
If he had done all this for us, Dayenu, Dayenu. If he had brought us here alive, Dayenu, Dayenu.
If all he gave was freedom's breath and broke the tyrant's hand,
Dayenu, Dayenu.
forever we will stand.
The drums began, soft at first.
Then rising, Miriam took the timbrel in her hand, and the women followed.
Sing, dance.
Do not wait for tomorrow.
No wall, no fields, no water lines, no plan. The sun burned hard against the sky, no shelter, shade or tree. A land where nothing living grows still carried all of me. The sand stretched out in every way, no path, no sign, no guide. And yet each breath returned again, though death walked at our side. No city, no grain, no system to remain. If he had kept us in this land, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was breath and stand, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he did was hold our lives where none should ever be, Dayenu, Dayenu. That would be enough for me. Yeah. nights fell cold without a sound. The heat was stripped away, a desert that could take your life by night as much as day. No walls to break the rising wind, no fire we could depend. Yet still we woke to morning light and walked the road again. No end in sight, no map to hold, still forward we would go. If he had brought us through this waste, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he gave was one more day, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he did was keep us here where none could long remain, Dayenu, Dayenu, we would not die in vain, yeah. Move slow above our heads, a shadow in the flame. By day they held the burning back, by night they lit the same. We did not build, we did not sow, we did not store or plant, and still the ground beneath our feet did not consume a man. Not luck, not chance, not strength of our own hands. Something held us in this place no mind could understand. We were not surviving, we were sustained. If he had done just only this, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he gave was life like this, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he showed was that his hand can hold what cannot be, Dayenu, Dayenu, that would be enough for me. No walls, no fear, still we walk alive.
The ground was empty, then it wasn't. The dew rose slow with morning light, and something lay beneath. Not grown, not baked, not bought or stored, but placed before our feet. No hand had worked, no field to turn, no seed had touched the land, and still enough for every soul was waiting where we stand. What is it? Voices fill the air. Manhu, we did not understand. If he had fed us from the sky, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he gave was daily bread, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he did was meet our needs with nothing from our hand, Dayenu, Dayenu, we live because he can. Take what you need, no more, no less, no saving for the next. The ones who tried to hold it back found nothing left but waste. 6 days it fell with perfect measure, enough for every name. But on the 6th a double came, and none would fall the same. No store, no stock, no plan to hold tomorrow. If he had taught us how to trust, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he gave was this each day, Dayenu, Dayenu, if all he showed was how we live without control or claim, Dayenu, Dayenu, we bless his holy name. It tasted like what he
Each one wished like honey, oil, and bread, a food that met the heart itself, not just the hunger fed. The children laughed, the elders smiled, the fear began to fade, for every dawn confirmed again the promise he had made. We do not wake to earn our bread, we wake and it is there, not by strength, not by trade, but because he cares. If he had fed us all our days, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was what we need, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he showed was hand to mouth, still held by something higher, Dayenu, Dayenu. Our souls would not require more. We step outside, and there it is again.
Yeah. 6 days we gathered, and the voice came. Stop.
The morning came, we stepped outside, no manna on the ground. The place we walked each waking day was empty all around. No dew to lift, no bread to take, no work to fill our hand. The rhythm we had come to trust, now broken by command. No gathering, no going out. Then how do we survive if he had given us this day? Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was time to stop, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was breath without the need to chase or plan, Dayenu. That would be enough for man. Ooh, that would be enough for man. The double portion held us through, no hunger pressed the air. The fear that drove our every step was suddenly not there. No task to chase, no field to claim, no master left to please. The weight that lived inside our bones was lifted into ease. No gathering, no striving, and still we remain. If he had freed us just to rest, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was peace like this, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was one full day when nothing must be done, Dayenu. We live as truly one. Yeah. We are not driven by the whip, we are not bound by need. We do not wait to chase the day or race another's greed. The world can wait, the ground can rest, the sky will still remain. For once we stand outside the pool of labor, loss, and gain.
Yeah. Bones dry mouth. A slave counts hours. A slave cannot stop. Yeah. But a people set free can trust what does not drop. Yeah.
If he had given us this gift, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was sacred time, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was one true sign that we are not controlled, Dayenu. We are no longer own. No work, no fear, no change, just rest. No work, no fear, no change. No work, no fear, no change. And we are still here.
The mountain did not wait for us. It was already alive. The ground beneath began to shake, the sky burned dark and white. A sound rolled down the desert plain, no man could step aside. The peak was wrapped in smoke and flame, the air too thick to breathe. A place no foot was meant to climb, and none could truly leave. Do not come too close, do not cross the line. And still we move. If he had brought us to this place,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he did was draw us near,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he gave was this one moment, standing face to flame, Dayenu, Dayenu, we would not be the same. Lightning cracked without a storm, the thunder held a voice. The mountain breathed beneath our feet as if it had a choice. The shofar sound began to rise, no hand could make that call. It pulled the heart out from the chest and shook the soul of all. We wanted near, we feared the same, no man could stand unchanged. If he had brought us just this close,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he gave was this great awe,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he showed was what he is beyond all form or name, Dayenu, Dayenu, we would not be the same. No longer wandering through the sand, no longer lost or free. We stood before a presence now that claimed what we would be. Not by force, not by chain, but something far more deep. A call that reached inside the soul, no man could turn or keep.
do not step forward, do not retreat.
Stand in the space where heaven meets.
The ground beneath your shaking feet.
He had brought us to his mount,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he gave was this one call,
Dayenu, Dayenu,
if all he gave was just to stand where earth and heaven meet, Dayenu, Dayenu, that would be comforting.
and burn. The sound grew louder, and we knew
Something was about to begin. No build, no warning. Impact line, the voice came, and the world could not hold it. Fire spoke without a flame, sound tore through the air. Not heard the way a man would hear, but something deeper there. The mountain shook beneath the words, the sky split open wide. Each sound a force that filled the soul with nowhere left to hide. We did not stand, we were undone.
if he had given us his voice. Dayenu, Dayenu,
If all he gave was just one word, Dayenu,
tear the veil apart. Dayenu, it would remake the heart. Each word struck deeper than the last, no space for thought or breath. The sound itself was life and truth that felt as close as death. We heard and could not bear to hear again. The body could not stay. The soul reached out beyond the frame, then somehow found its way. Moshe, stand between us now. We cannot take this more. If he had given us this truth, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was just this fire, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was this one sound that no man can contain, Dayenu, we would not be the same. Not by sword, not by chain, not by hunger, loss or gain. We were shaped by what we heard and what we could not hold. A people formed in fire and sound, a truth that can't be sold. The voice did not just speak, it claimed not land, not body. If he had given us his law, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. If all he gave was who we are, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. If all he gave was this one truth that we are his alone, Dayenu, we are no longer our own. The mountains still burn, but we step back because now we understood. We had been changed. After all the dust, we saw it. The desert broke beneath our feet. The color changed ahead. Where sand had ruled for all our days, now life and water spread. Green against the open sky, a land that breathed and grew. Not borrowed ground, not passing through, something finally true. This is the place, the one he said, the promise now in view.
If he had brought us to this land, Dayenu. If all he gave was ground to stand, Dayenu.
If all he gave was this one place to live and not to flee, Dayenu, Dayenu, that would be enough for me. No longer walking without rest, no longer moving on.
No pillar leading through the night, no road to chase at dawn. We plant, we build, we raise a life. We stand where roots can grow. A people no longer carried, but a people who now know. No wandering, no running, we remain. If he had ended all our roads, Dayenu. If all he gave was this one home, Dayenu. If all he gave was place and peace where we can finally be, Dayenu. Through the years when we were torn and scattered from this place, the memory of this living land did not erase. We spoke its name in distant lands, we faced another dawn, and slowly through the weight of time we came back home again. The promise held, the ground remained, waiting for our return. If he had kept this land for us, Dayenu. If all he gave was hope that stayed, Dayenu. If all he gave was this return after all we've seen, Dayenu. Dayenu. We rebuild what has been. Not just a land, not just a claim, a place that holds his living name. The ground beneath our Father's call now holds us, one and all. If he had brought us back to this, Dayenu. If all he gave was life restored, Dayenu. If all he gave was this one truth, that we are not alone, Dayenu. Dayenu. We finally come home. The land was always there, waiting, and now so are we. Not just a land, a place within it. High on the hills where the world draws near, a city set apart, not built by power, not claimed by force, but chosen from the start. The stones remember every step, the prayers that filled the air. A place where every road of time was always leading there.
Not just walls, not just ground.
Something deeper here is found. If he had brought us to this place, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was sacred ground, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was just this hill where heaven touches stone, Dayenu, Dayenu.
consumed the height. We carried still within our souls the memory of that light. Through every land, through every age, through exile, loss and pain, we turned our hearts toward this one place and spoke its name again. Jerusalem, we call your name.
Across the years the same.
If he had left us just this hope, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he gave was memory,
Dayenu,
Dayenu. If all he gave was this one place we never could replace, Dayenu, Dayenu. We'd still seek your face. Return us, rebuild it. Let the stones rise again. Let the sound of song and offering fill these halls again. Not just remembered, not just known, but standing once again as home. If he rebuilds this house again, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he brings us back once more, Dayenu, Dayenu. If all he does is place his name where we can stand as one, Dayenu, Dayenu. The journey will be done.
from Egypt
To this place, everything was leading